Now I'm just going to sand the lap and I'm going to come out and laminate the deck. Now, part of this flyer here, you can see there's no cuts. It's all good, so I won't get any cracks here. It's a bit of a one-off design, this one. I just wanted something with a wide tail, more of a chisel-y thing. So, and the points come back a little bit, so hopefully it won't feel as, between there and here, won't feel as tracky as the wide swallowtail does. So, anyway, we'll see. It's only tiny, this thing. Bloody hell. So I'll just wet and dry the edges first. But the idea is they get nice little sort of waves on the beach break there at Padmar Street. And I'm hoping it's something Cookie will get lots of speed. Something zippy. I like it. See a nice bit of V through there. It's going to have these beautiful black lightning bolt things. Like I did on Anderson's board, on the website there's a picture of an a fast forward 2. So I'll just give this a quick sand. As I say, it's only going to have one layer of 6. So I will put a patch on the tail. 4-ounce patch. So it'll have a 6 and a 4 where he stomps his back foot, duck dives. I'll just go up to about here. There we go. Yeah, it will have a what we call a knee patch or toe patch. Just because he will duck dive. Yeah, he'll duck dive and just to keep it hanging in there a bit, but at least with the 2 6s on the rail, should be something that lasts a long time. I don't want it falling apart. It's going to be polished, so it's going to look fucking unreal. The last one I sent him was just a white sanded finish, so this one should blow him away. There we go. Yeah, this one should blow him away, I reckon. The size of it. It's so tiny, but should be bloody good. And normally I use styrene on the rail, but today I'm going to use acetone. So I want it to dry quick, because when I use styrene, it takes about 10 minutes for it to dry. Oh, what's that? What's that? Peter, just checking in. Not sure how long for the hottest day ever over here, ever recorded. Global warming. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I actually watched the show the other day, Jack, which was really interesting. And the wonderful thing about the English language, and you guys invented the English language, and it's such a wonderful language. And when the news doesn't remember how to use the English language, I watched the show, and it was about the dinosaurs, and it was about what happened when the meteor hit the Earth. And unfortunately, they can no longer say the hottest day ever on Earth, because that was when the meteor hit the Earth, and it was just unbelievable what happened. The particles that blew up and went in the air, and it was rain and fire for so long. So the hottest day happened then, but we've had a few other hotter days. Yes, I agree with that. We had one at Burke, but that's been written out of history. That's been written out of history. Don't worry, it won't be long and the dinosaurs will be written out of history. That cancel culture. But anyway. No, that's funny. Oh, look. My dad, we went up and seen my dad the other day. Here's an example of I suppose, life. We went up and seen my dad, and he's getting close to the end in a sense. He's and he knows it. And we made the discussion about when my mum got really ill. She went to the nursing home near where they live, and my dad was very happy with it. But he's decided when he goes, he wants to go at home. He wants to stay at home. Like, he's going on 90 in a couple of months. He's going on 90 in a couple of months, and he said, I don't want to go to the nursing home, I want to stay at home. And I said, that's fine, we'll arrange it. So I said, that's fine, we'll arrange it, we'll get, nurses in to take care and all that sort of stuff. When the time comes, you want to stay at home. And I think dealing with those little things and stuff, and you just start shaking your head and at the whole thing. You think, oh God, is it worth even saying anything these days? And it pretty well it isn't, because we've got so many things that are swept under the carpet and stuff like that, and you just think, oh well, I don't think I'll worry about it. So realistically, we will, I talked about it with my dad, and he talked about the money, and he talked about what he wants us to do, and where he's got money hidden in his house and all this sort of stuff. And that's my dad, that's that generation. They kept, 50,000, like he's got a fair bit, and he's just got little safes here and there. I just cracked up, but anyway, but irrespective of that, I'm still going to make boards. I'll still make boards, But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be working a hell of a lot less. I'll still make boards, but if I decide I want to have a few days off, yeah, good, mate. G'day, Mark. The hats and everything will be arriving shortly. Yeah, so, but, no, all good. Very good. Touch wood. But yeah, my dad, he's deciding he wants to stay at home, and that's fine. He's got the money, he's worked his whole life. He's got the money to do that. And they are his wishes, because I think he's starting to feel a bit, because he's had strokes and everything, he's starting to feel a bit weak and stuff, and he just wants to make sure he's going to be where he wants to be, and that's fine. But in saying that, sorry, I just forgot what I walked over here for. What did I want? Sorry, I was talking and now I've just... Oh, plastic bag for the bin, sorry. Yeah, so he's decided that. And it's funny. I know. That was the frustrating thing, you know, and as Jack's talking about, he's talking about the temperature and so forth, and the frustrating thing is when people don't research themselves. And as I said, I did the research where I rang the National Archives Museum and got the actual paperwork from 1908 or something like that. I forget the exact dates. Hottest day in Australia, 51.6 degrees at Burke. Now, I got that sent to me. It took 4 months, 5 months, but they did it. And that's the wonderful thing about archives museums. They don't like cancel culture, because it basically goes against everything an archives museum is. And unfortunately, irrespective of what people like to think, it's what happened is in the world is what happened. We don't pretend it didn't. But in saying that, yeah, I got all the paperwork that I got. Sorry, I've just got to put a bit of talcum powder on here so I can roll this back. I want to roll this back when I put the sticker on. So I put a bit of talcum powder where it was sticky, and that'll stop. So, yeah, okay, what I'll do, I'll repost it. I'll actually repost it because I've got the paperwork there. I think it was 1907 in Burke, New South Wales. The postmaster came in to work on a Sunday, and he normally only worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And he came to work on the Sunday, and he knew it was going to be a hot day, and it was 125 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 56 or 51.6 degrees. Now, that stood for years until the back in the 80s, as you know, with the global warming thing, and anyway, but now they want to strike it off the record, and they have. If you look up on the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, they've deleted that date, not the day before or the day after, and their excuse was he wasn't supposed to come in on a Sunday, so they're not going to count it. But anyway, it was 51.6 degrees. It was done with a temperature recording device which has what they call a Stevenson screen. And you ask people about that and they won't even know. You'll get people that are adamant about this whole weather thing and they won't even understand what a Stevenson screen is. And or what difference it makes to the recording of the temperature. So that's where, you know, you can't convince flies that honey tastes better than shit. You know, so stupid is as stupid does. But yeah, so they deleted it off the history, and we've got a lot of that. You know, that's the problem. And I got the paper, actual copy, a photocopy of the paper that guy actually wrote on. They sent it to me, everything. I'll have to repost it. Now, that showed, and he even underlined it because he knew it was going to be some sort of significant thing. And 125 degrees Fahrenheit. So, but the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, and it's going to come up again. Remember, these same dickheads are telling us we were going to be no water. We're flooded. But this is, like, when Australians, or when we first came to Australia, the Aboriginal people must have sat there looking at us and thinking, what dickheads? Who would build on a floodplain? And it's been a floodplain since it became land, yet these dickheads built cities on floodplains, and they're wondering why we're getting floods, which we always have, and they're even called floodplains. Yeah, anyway. But they must have sat back, the Aboriginal people, looking at us going, these white fellas, they are idiots, aren't they? Building houses on floodplains. That's not going to last. But yeah, anyway. But I will. I'll put that up. I'll re-put up the thing, because at the moment, and like the other side of it too is, back in the 80s, a lot of people that are a bit younger mightn't realise it, but back in the 80s we had this massive scare campaign, and it was called the ozone layer. And we're all going to die. We're going to walk outside and we're going to fry. Now, what happened was, the people that decided that the ozone layer was going to be depleted and we're going to cause all sorts of problems, DuPont were on the board, and going back to when hemp was banned, okay, when nylon was invented. Now, what happened was, DuPont had what they call the patent for the refrigerant that's in every refrigerator prior to the new one being made, right? No one else could make it. They had to actually get permission off DuPont to make it and pay them a royalty or whatever. Okay, so DuPont had now what happened was, their patent was about to run out. So they came up with another refrigerant. Yep, CFC, that's correct. But excuse me, they came up with another refrigerant, okay, which has those no chlorofluorocarbons in it, and they patented that. I think it lasts for 80 years or whatever. Now, just before their patent ran out, there was a scare campaign about the ozone layer. Now, the biggest thing they did to reverse, and we're talking, you think about how many refrigerators and air conditioners there are in the world. They ran a scare campaign, and the first thing they did was they banned chlorofluorocarbons. And you can look it up, it's all still there, they haven't totally cancelled it out. They banned chlorofluorocarbons. So that meant DuPont had to stop making it eventually, just before their patent ran out. Now, the best part, this is where it's the best part, and basically everyone's let it go by without even seeing it. People must feel like they've been screwed badly, but the best part is they came up with a new one with no chlorofluorocarbons in it and got a patent on that. Now they decided, but like they did with hemp, to get it banned, chlorofluorocarbons, so none of these Asian countries could make it like they would do and just ignore the new one. So it became banned. Now, the thing for the ozone layer was chlorofluorocarbon. So they've changed it. They've fixed it by getting the new thing. Right in time for when the patent ran out. Then DuPont said, we've got a new one. And we've got the patent on it. And it's all facts. It's all there if you look it up. Now, if people can see those things and not believe that it is one of the biggest scams in history, you're not going to believe anything. You're not going to believe your wife's sleeping around if she is, or you're not going to believe anything. That's the thing, or your partner sleeping around. You're going to be like, I forget which pill it was. If you take the blue pill, what is it? Take the blue pill. It's just, just keep doing what you're doing, or a red pill. I'm not sure. Can't remember. I like the Matrix, but that's a fact, and it went by. They did it with hemp rope. They got that banned when nylon got invented back in 1925 or whatever, or in those early days. They demonised hemp, even though it wasn't the hemp that people smoke. It was just the plant, not the one with the drugs in it. But yeah, so anyway, the ozone layer disappeared. Once all that contracts were all signed about this being banned, ozone layer was forgotten. We used to have it every day. You're going to go outside and zap, you're going to be melted. But don't get me wrong, there's no way a big corporation's going to lie to us. There's no way. There's no way a company like DuPont is going to lie to the average person for their advantage. I don't think they would. But anyway, if you get what I'm saying, these companies that decide that CFC got banned and all that sort of stuff, they allowed the morning tablet, thalidomide, to be sold when they knew it was causing birth defects. I had a couple of friends that they were thalidomide babies, had the crooked arms and everything. So you got to understand, these same government departments passed thalidomide, and even though they knew it was causing birth defects, they still allowed it. So it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think, because I'm 58 years of age. If I'm lucky enough to live as long as my dad, which is 90, I'll be happy. So realistically, I've supposedly got 32 years left. Hopefully at least 20 odd of those still working. But as much as it's sad that it's going to happen and all these things are happening, I'll have to say it, once we get our inheritance, I don't have to work anymore, I'm just going to fall off the face of the earth. I'm just going to gladly, sorry, I'll just turn the camera around. That was for when I was in the other room. Yeah, I'm just going to fall off the face of the earth. I'll still make a couple of boards, but I'll get up every morning and hop in the pool for an hour with my coffee. We've got a heated pool. We heat it to 35 degrees Celsius. It's currently 35 degrees Celsius, our pool out there right now. So that's pretty warm. Got a heat pump. Yeah, so I think if you get too frustrated over all those things, I don't think you actually enjoy your life. I think you end up spending all this time yelling at a computer screen. But I'm happy to finish off the house, do all these nice things, and just fall off the face of the earth. Let the world do what it does. Let the world do what it does best. Bit like The Good Life that Jack sent us. Just let it all go. I think that's like that Frozen song, Let It Go. Yeah. Because you can't if people won't research anything, you have no hope. You have no hope of anyone being informed. And I think, unfortunately, because of misinformation, that's how all this stuff is working. They're talking about now, they're trying to put a case against George Pell. Someone's doing another case against him because of the son committed suicide, but it'll get pushed under the rug. I mean, just look at your paper this morning and see if there's anything about Prince, what's his name? Not Philip, God, what's his name? Edward, or, no, not Edward. Oh, I forgot, the one that Epstein's mate. But anyway. Yeah, but I'll be happy to drop off. Seeing my dad near the end of his life, it's made me realise that you know, we've all got our use by date, that's for sure. But I think there's a lot of I think a lot more people are finding. I think COVID made them realise, you know what? I think I'm just going to get off the ride. I think that's happened. I think there's been a few people gone, you know what? I'm getting off the ride. It could be as simple as, like, people get frustrated on Facebook all the time, and I think it could be as simple as getting off social media for some people. You know, I think it can be as simple as that. People go, no more social media. Or, like for us, we don't watch mainstream television. I mean, why would you? Because all the issues involving our part of the world are not talked about. Like for us, Papua New Guinea, our neighbours are getting murdered by the Indonesians, and that's not on television. So why would I want to watch something that doesn't report genocide happening just above us? You know, I know lots of people on Instagram in Australia, and I've only seen a couple even talk about Papua New Guinea. So does that mean they don't give a rat's ass? Does that mean they're insensitive? I don't know. You know, it's hard because 500,000 people have been killed. That's a reasonable amount. That's like a decent sized small city, and no one says anything about it. They talk about the football, they talk about all sorts of things, but not genocide. In Australia, we have this thing where we've just given 400,000 to the Ukrainians and nothing to the Papua. That's what I hate about it. The poor Papua New Guineans are getting nothing, and yet I think 7,000 people died in Ukraine and they sent them 400 million. Whereas here, 500,000 Papua New Guineans have been murdered and they get nothing. So it's and you're going to get whatever news there is, you know, you're going to get the people talking about whatever. You can't. What was that song? There was a rap song. I remember it going back to the 90s or whatever. Television, the drug of a nation, breed in ignorance, and something else. I remember it. And I remember when I heard that song, I never really gave it too much thought, but boy, that guy was, that rapper was on the mark, wasn't he? He was on the mark big time. Righto, that looks brilliant. I can't wait for Cookie. See, this is what I really enjoy. Cookie's getting this board. He doesn't know it's coming. It's going to be polished. It's going to have these beautiful black lightning bolt curvy things on the deck as well. it's just going to look amazing. I'm really stoked. Even the colour, I had a bit of this leftover red, so I just put it in a bit of white, and bang, that's how it became pink. So I was trying to do this board. The blank sat here for 5 years, so I ended up just bending a bit more rocker in the nose, which I did a video on, and now he's got a board coming. Yeah, that's right, Jack. Oh, and Kim sends her thanks again about the Call the Midwife, because the new Call the Midwife's coming out at the end of the year, so you'll be getting a call. But yeah. I don't think we're going to travel when we get this money. I don't think I'm going to be traveling. I think I'll just be staying here. We're getting a motor home, but I think we'll just be staying here in Australia and chilling. Sorry, I've just got to clean up this bit of, spread this around a little bit. Just so it doesn't heat up. What happens, it pools in these little holes, and if you don't spread it around a bit, it heats up and burns a hole through your plastic. So I'm just moving this around a bit. There we go. It's about the gel. Now I've just got to turn the air conditioner up a bit. Won't be a second. Get this temperature up a little bit. I want it to go off. Right. Yeah, so this is looking good. Oh, what's that? Yes, Jack, you got to come here. We'll have the room finished and you can come and stay here for a while. It'll be a nice little, you know, in the garage, like we're doing like a granny flat thing. But gladly have you over. Won't cost you a cent. Look forward to it. Tell you what, this is looking good. I'm stoked. Now I'm just putting a bit of, making sure these corners of the sting is perfect. There's no air bubbles. And I'll do one more zip around with my squeegee. Yeah, that'd be nice to have you guys come out. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, nothing more than we'd love to do and come to England. There's lots of places, even and Scotland and Ireland, and Germany, where I was born. But I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, it's different age, you know. You sort of think differently. Yeah, this board's going to be polished. The model's called the UDT, and that comes from Kim, because she calls concaves up and downy thingies, and this has got a really nice deep concave, double concave, so We've named it the UDT. Uppy downy thingy. This is looking good. Sorry, I'm just making sure that's perfect. There we go. Now clean my hands and I'll give you a look at what I've done. As I say, this one's got a patch on the tail. There we go. Right, I'll see if the camera doesn't stuff up while I'm doing this. It has been, I don't know what it is. Okay, so you can see the sting there. See how I've cut none of the cloth all the way around. There's no cuts in it anywhere. So that will not be a weak point, okay? The patch goes to there, so it's only got one layer of 6 top and bottom. 4 patch there, so that'll give that tail a little bit of strength. You see the bit of roundness in the tip of the tail. It's like a reverse swallowtail to a point, but I'm going to leave that really sharp. This is going to be a razor sharp edge all the way around here. And there's that concave, see? So this is going to be batshit fast. But as I say, for Cookie, I just want him to have lots of speed. And he's going to be able to ride it as a quaddie as well. And you can barely see where I did the nose. That extra bit there, you can see the slight difference there in the colour of the timber, but that's it. It's all perfect. And it's going to have these lightning bolts that go from here, back and there, both sides, top and bottom in black. So it's going to look amazing. Anyway, I'll be back to filler coat this in a little while. And I'll get rid of the camera.